Okay, so think about this for a second. Picture someone fishing, but like right on temple grounds.
Hmm.
On the surface, that probably seems, well, disrespectful, maybe even wrong, right?
Immediately.
But could that person just maybe be in a better place spiritually than someone who's actually inside the temple listening to, sacred teachings?
It's a really jarring thought, isn't it?
Totally. It immediately throws into question how we judge things, what's actually good or bad.
And that contrast, the gap between what someone does on the outside and what's really going on inside, their intention, that's exactly what we're digging into today.
Right.
We've got this really fascinating piece of writing. It was originally in Thai. The title translates to something like merit, intention, and true kindness. And it sets up this scenario that really, well, it pushes you to rethink how you judge actions and what real spiritual value looks like.
And the setup itself it's simple but really effective. So you have this person, right? They're at a big religious event. Looks like they're totally engaged in the sermon.
Seems that way, yeah. It looks pious.
Exactly. Looks the part. But then they notice someone down by the temple pond fishing. And suddenly, instead of focusing on the teachings, their mind just fills with judgment, criticizing the fisherman, thinking it's inappropriate, maybe harmful, especially in a sacred place.
Precisely. That's one side. Now let's flip to the fisherman.
Okay.
He knows that the event is happening. He's aware. But his circumstances,
Yeah.
they're different. He's not fishing for fun or sport.
Ah, okay.
No, he's doing it because he has to. He needs to feed his sick parents, apparently. So his inner world is, well, it's completely different from what that person watching might assume.
So what's going on in his head?
Well, the source says he feels genuine remorse. He doesn't want to be taking life. He actually wishes he could be listening to the sermon, too. Yeah, and he even feels like goodwill towards the people who are there. He's kind of silently asking forgiveness, hoping things will be different later.
Okay, so this is the paradox, right? The heart of it. The source even asks pretty directly. Yep.
It poses the question, yeah.
Why does the person listening to the Dharma fall into hell and the fisherman go to heaven? It's just completely backwards from what you'd expect.
It is. And the key, according to this writing, is intention.
Intention. Okay.
Yeah, in Thai. The source states that, hey, that's good karma, and both that karma, they stem from our intention.
So it's not just the action.
It's primarily the intention behind the action.
Yeah.
A wholesome intention, taklai, leads to good karma. An unwholesome one, taklai, leads to bad karma.
Like planting seeds.
That's a good way to put it. Wholesome intentions go into positive outcomes. Unwholesome ones, well, they tend towards suffering.
Okay, so back to the two people. The person listening to the sermon, outwardly doing something good, something pious.
Right.
But their intention was negative, judgmental, ill will.
Exactly. That negativity, that criticism towards the fisherman, that's the unwholesome intention. And the source suggests it generates negative karma.
Even though they're at a sermon.
Even then. And conversely, the fisherman, his action, fishing, looks negative on the surface.
Yeah.
But his inner state, it was marked by positive intentions, remorse, responsibility, even that goodwill. So that generates positive karma, despite the act itself.
Huh. So the source is really forcing us to look much deeper than just appearances.
Absolutely. Don't judge the book by its cover, essentially, but applied to actions and inner states.
It's a powerful point. We are so quick to judge based on what we see, aren't we? Without knowing the full story or what someone's actually thinking or feeling.
And the writing really drives this home with a whole list of contrasts. Examples of hypocrisy, basically.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, things like you chant but still gossip.
Oof. Okay.
Or you give alms but still take advantage of people.
Right. Going through the motions, but the underlying behavior is still harmful.
Exactly. And it continues. You have knowledge but like to look down on others.
That's a common one.
Isn't it? And your body is clean, but your heart is dirty. That one's very direct.
Yeah, cuts right through. It paints a picture of, well, it disconnects, a big one.
It does. Or how about you want true friends, but you are a false friend.
So your own inner state prevents you from getting what you seem to want.
Precisely. It highlights how these internal flaws, this lack of inner purity, can completely undermine the outward actions. Doing good deeds just for fame, having plenty, but not sharing.
Taking care of strangers, but neglecting your own parents.
Right. Or even you abstain from meat, but oppress your fellow humans.
Wow. So it's not about the specific rule, like not eating meat, if you're still causing harm in other ways.
That seems to be the message. It all comes back to the underlying intention and the overall state of your heart. The list kind of culminates in this line. You can't find yourself, but karma finds you.
Meaning you can hide from yourself, maybe, but not from the consequences of your intentions.
That's how I read it, yeah. It suggests that true spiritual work isn't about performance. It's about genuine inner cultivation.
Which brings us to another concept mentioned, right? Something called san-dad. You mentioned a quote.
Yeah, yes, namjai. It's a really rich Thai concept. It's more than just kindness. It's like generosity of spirit, deep empathy, genuine consideration for others.
Okay.
And the quote is from a respected monk, Fra Paisal Visalo. He points out basically that sometimes people focus a lot on outward religious stuff.
Like donations to temples or ceremonies.
Exactly. Things directed towards what they see as higher monks' temples. But in doing so, they might neglect showing basic compassion, that namjai, to those seen as lower or just ordinary people facing hardship, the poor, animals, even just someone struggling.
So it's like prioritizing the big, visible gestures over the everyday acts of, well, human decency.
Kind of, yeah. And you can see how this connects right back to our story.
The judgmental person at the sermon.
They were likely so caught up in the proper way to be religious, feeling maybe superior to the fisherman,
That they completely missed the chance for empathy, for understanding his situation, that lack of namjai.
Precisely. And that sense of superiority, that judgment, it actually gets in the way of their own spiritual development. It closes the heart, you could say.
Whereas the fisherman maybe had more of that namjai despite his actions.
In his intentions, yes. The remorse, the goodwill that points towards a more open, compassionate heart, even in difficult circumstances. And the source really wraps this up with a powerful statement.
What's that?
Vetnat metta kam jun lok. It means kindness sustains the world.
Metta. That's loving kindness, right?
Exactly. True kindness, genuine goodwill, rooted in positive intention and extending out to everyone, all beings. That, the source suggests, is fundamentally more important, more impactful than just outward shows of piety without the heart behind it.
So if we boil it all down, this deep dive into merit, intention, and true kindness, it's really showing us that what's inside our intention carries way more weight than just what we do on the outside, at least in terms of, our spiritual path and our real impact.
That's the core message, I think. The fisherman's story just makes it impossible to ignore. It forces that reevaluation.
Okay, so for you listening, this really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we make those snap judgments based purely on what we see someone doing?
It's an invitation, maybe, to cultivate a bit more awareness, not just to others, but of our own inner commentary, our own motivations.
It's like maybe pause when that judgmental thought pops up.
Yeah, just pause and ask, like, okay, what else could be going on here? What might I not be seeing? Extending that thoughtful consideration.
It really leaves you wondering, if our inner world, our intentions have that much power, how often do we actually stop and look at why we're doing what we're doing? And could making a real effort to shift those intentions, towards more genuine kindness, more compassion, could that actually create ripples? Positive change, not just inside us, but out there in the world too.
It's definitely something profound to think about. How shifting the inner landscape might just change everything else.